is just how it appeals to the person and what themes matter to you. But I swear to God, people are lying if they say she's interesting outside of resisting omnipotence. They're just lying, dude.
I like her relationship.
They're coping on the
There's just no
anime
way.
arc, really, is what it is.
Okay, the anime, that thing is not canon to the manga. I don't care what no one says.
New
Oh,
Way
I'm
is
glad you
canon
said
to the
that
manga.
because
New Way has like a data book thing in the manga.
Yeah, okay, yeah. New Way, I'm pretty sure, is listed under her abilities and has
where
I don't
is
know
he
what
in
else
the
he
manga?
has, but yeah, he
Scrapbook.
like the anime and manga, they can share like some similarities, but like of course like the character Boruto exists in both, but what he does and like the arcs he goes through, it just isn't canon to the manga if it happened in the anime. Like
No,
the anime,
I'm glad you're saying
Literally.
that's my
because
issue
Mitsuki-
with Jogan.
Yeah.
You know, oh
Don't
my
get
God,
him
dude.
started.
I can go on I can give you a good rant about not just the Jokan, but Mitsuki as well, because Mitsuki in the anime kind of makes no sense compared to Mitsuki in the manga. They literally just gave in Two Blue Vortex Mitsuki the exact same character arc that Mitsuki already had early in the Boruto anime. He already went through the beat by beat the same character arc, and he never lost it. He just didn't have it in the manga. They just did it 3 years later. It's a completely different story at that point. Not to mention the sage mode problem. We don't know, because the manga's never introduced the drawbacks of sage mode that he had against Deepa. We don't know why he never used it in the manga, and we don't know how he fixed it in the manga either.
Okay, so right, the thing about it is, right, people misunderstand what makes something canon to each other, right? People are always like, oh, well, Japanese fans don't define it that way. If you ask any Japanese fan, or Kishimoto's gonna say it's canon, what they mean is that it is their work, and if you want to use it, you can use it. But saying that they can both coexist, it can't be true. And once you say two things can coexist that can't, or else contradictions, that allows you to just say anything, right? So, for example, in the Momoshiki arc, Boruto uses the Jogan in the anime, but not in the manga, right? We can't say he both used the Jogan and did it, because you can't do something and not do it. You can't have water in a bucket and no water in a bucket.
Unless you're Ada.
It's anyway.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other. So you can't be like, well, the anime's canon and these certain things are canon because they're just cherry picking. You can't say, oh, Sarada has the 2 Tomoe in a Boro fight in the anime, and somehow that's canon to the manga where she has the 3 Tomoe. No, that's just not true. She can't have 2 different sets of eyes at the same time. You should look at it as the anime is canon to itself and the manga is canon to itself. I've watched the anime, I've read the manga. I look at them 2 different ways. They're just not canon to each other. It's okay. It's okay for everything not to be canon. The same is true for Naruto. Same is true for Dragon Ball Super. The same is true for same is even true for JJK. The JJK anime has differences and stuff, which is fine.
The thing that bothers me is that the producers act like they're canon to each other, whereas for Naruto, they never did that. For example, Udakata, the anime integrates him in the 4 arc as like an actual character that Naruto knows, right? That makes sense for the anime, so it's canon to the anime. It's a fluid story there, but they're not acting like it's the equal to the manga. Whereas I feel like for Boruto, from everything I've heard, the producers act like it's the same story. It's like, well, no, it's not.
I mean, that's what just Japanese, like, that's when people use the argument. You ever heard the argument that some of the Storm games are canon or some shit? That's with people who aren't the authors putting their 2 cents where they don't understand it. So it's like people say the Storm games are canon. Not only is that just never stated, it's by some random guy who they get the implication from, which not Kishimoto, doesn't matter. And people also think somehow working on something and having your name on it and saying it exists and it's an adaptation means that it's canon. That's also not true. That's like implying every random sketch he did as a child is canon to Naruto or Samurai 8 or something. Kishimoto doesn't, like, he doesn't even write everything in the manga. Like, his editors give stuff. He probably gets opinions from other people. If we were to go with the logic that only Kishimoto is of value, you couldn't even say the manga's canon.
Yeah.
That's why people just need to stop.
Yeah,
arguing.
Orochimaru is not canon. It wasn't his idea.
Manga is manga, anime is anime. It's perfectly fine. People don't need to say it was canon at all.
Zabuza doesn't have a canon design. He's just